A bold and alarming development is unfolding in Illinois. Governor JB Pritzker has revealed that the Trump administration is reportedly planning to send 100 troops to the state to protect immigration and customs enforcement, ICE operations. This announcement comes on the heels of recent tensions, including the deployment of armed federal agents in downtown Chicago over the weekend, and several confrontations between protesters and ICE agents in the west suburban area of Broadview. According to Pritzker, the Illinois National Guard has been informed through a memo from the Department of Homeland Security to the Pentagon requesting the deployment of these troops. However, it remains unclear whether these forces would be drawn from the Illinois National Guard units from other states, or active-duty military personnel. This ambiguity adds to the uncertainty and concern surrounding the situation. "What I have warned about is now coming true," Pritzker stated emphatically. "One thing is crystal clear. None of the actions taken by the Trump administration are making Illinois any safer. Instead, this is an assault on our neighborhoods, on law-abiding residents, and on U.S. citizens." Contrary to Donald Trump's claims that these measures prevent crime, they actually jeopardize public safety. As I have said repeatedly, for Trump and his MAGA allies in Congress, this isn't about combating crime or ensuring safety. It's about instilling fear, intimidation, and division among Americans. It's a pretext to justify sending armed military forces into our communities and consolidating power in Trump's hands. Both Governor Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson have consistently argued that the Trump administration's aggressive immigration enforcement in the Chicago area and the president's repeated threats to deploy troops are not genuinely about public safety. Instead, they see these moves as politically motivated. Mayor Johnson elaborated, "This is about money, politics, and power. The president is wielding militarized forces exactly as he intended, to push his political agenda. Whether through ICE, the National Guard, or the U.S. Army, he aims to militarize our cities. He wants to provoke armed conflict so he can justify sending even more federal agents into our communities." CBS News Chicago has reached out to the Department of Homeland Security and the Pentagon for official comments on these developments. In response to the potential troop deployment, Governor Pritzker and Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul have made it clear that the state is prepared to take legal action against the Trump administration if the deployment proceeds. This stance follows similar legal challenges from other states. For example, Oregon recently filed a lawsuit after President Trump announced plans to send troops to Portland to protect federal property amid ongoing protests. The lawsuit contends that the president lacks the authority to federalize the National Guard in this manner. California also filed a lawsuit in June after federal troops were sent to Los Angeles, and a federal judge ruled earlier this month that the deployment violated federal law. Attorney General Raoul emphasized that while the current memo about troop deployment is not sufficient grounds for a lawsuit, his office is ready to act if the Pentagon takes concrete steps towards sending troops. "We are prepared," Raoul said. "Our legal team has been working over the weekend in close coordination with the governor's office and other partners. We are also in communication with Oregon's Attorney General." The situation escalated visibly on Sunday when armed federal agents were seen patrolling downtown Chicago. Some agents wore masks and carried long guns, moving in groups among shoppers and tourists on Michigan Avenue. Governor Pritzker condemned the presence, saying, "On a beautiful weekend when families were out enjoying the city, armed Border Patrol agents were marching up and down Michigan Avenue, harassing and intimidating residents and visitors alike." Meanwhile, ICE's chief officer Gregory Bovino has been orchestrating this chaos, even posing for photo ops and TikTok videos. Pritzker also referenced a report from WBEZ Public Radio, which revealed that Bovino admitted in an interview that federal agents were arresting people downtown based on their appearance. "They're not targeting violent criminals or gang members," Pritzker explained. "Instead, they're detaining tamale vendors, delivery workers, and harassing families." Trump, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and border czar Tom Homan claimed they were going after the worst criminals. They lied and continue to lie. 60% of those ICE has detained in Illinois this year have no criminal convictions. ICE is effectively harassing people for not being white. Just a year ago, that would have been illegal in the United States. Now, it's becoming routine. A video sent to CBS News Chicago showed federal agents detaining a mother and her children in front of a crowd on Michigan Avenue around 1 p.m. on Sunday, highlighting the human impact of these operations. Mayor Brandon Johnson called the federal agents' show of force an absolute disgrace. He described how agents targeted street vendors and construction workers simply trying to earn an honest living, even forcing a young girl to act as a translator while her family was taken into custody. These heartbreaking scenes have nothing to do with making our city safer, he said. The tension continued at the ICE processing facility in Broadview, where protests have been ongoing. Over the weekend, federal agents were seen using tear gas, pepper balls, and other chemical agents against protesters who were peacefully exercising their First Amendment rights. Pritzker described the agents' behavior as jackbooted thuggery, noting that even members of the press have been targeted. A CBS Chicago reporter, Asal Rezai, had a pepper ball fired at her vehicle despite no protesters being nearby. Rezai reported that the chemical agents caused her to experience burning and vomiting. The Broadview Police Department has launched a criminal investigation into the incident, and the Department of Homeland Security is expected to cooperate. CBS News Chicago reporter Darius Johnson also recounted being affected by tear gas while covering protests at the Broadview facility, emphasizing the lack of regard for media personnel. Pritzker urged residents to document any encounters with ICE agents to protect their rights, citing a recent case in New York where an ICE officer was temporarily relieved of duty after video surfaced showing him pushing a woman outside an immigration court. Although the officer has since been reinstated, the incident sparked widespread criticism. This unfolding situation raises critical questions. Is the militarization of immigration enforcement truly about public safety, or is it a political strategy to sow fear and division? How far should federal authorities go in deploying military forces within U.S. cities? And what are the implications for civil liberties and community trust? We invite you to share your thoughts and perspectives. Do you agree with Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson's assessment, or do you believe the federal government's actions are justified? Join the conversation and let us know your views in the comments below.